Hello and welcome to In the Know. Tonight we're covering major developments out of Washington that could have lasting effects on federal workers, government funding, and essential programs nationwide. The Trump administration recently attempted to freeze federal grants and loan disbursements, a move that was met with immediate legal challenges. A federal judge has now stepped in, temporarily blocking the freeze, citing concerns over its legality and impact. At the same time, another major shift is unfolding within the federal workforce. The Trump administration has offered voluntary buyouts to thousands of U.S. government employees, with workers given a limited window to accept the offer. The administration claims this is part of an effort to streamline government operations, but critics warn it could weaken essential services. Let's break it down. Let's start with the federal grant freeze. The Trump administration issued an order temporarily halting federal grants and loans, aiming to conduct a review of government spending. This decision sent shockwaves across state governments, nonprofits, and businesses that rely on federal assistance. Concerns immediately arose over funding for healthcare, education, infrastructure, and small business loans. Many feared that critical programs, such as Medicaid and disaster relief funds, could face serious disruptions. However, the courts have stepped in. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the freeze, ruling that it could cause immediate and irreparable harm to recipients who depend on these funds. The ruling allows grants and loans to continue while legal battles play out over the administration's authority to halt spending. The White House, meanwhile, insists that the review is necessary to ensure taxpayer money is being used responsibly. Officials argue that past administrations have allowed unnecessary spending and that this move is about accountability, not cutting essential programs. While legal battles over federal funding continues, another controversial policy is unfolding, this time impacting the federal workforce. The Trump administration has offered voluntary buyouts to thousands of government employees. This program gives workers financial incentives to resign as part of an effort to reduce the size of the federal workforce. Federal employees have until next week to decide whether to accept the offer. Those who opt in will receive a lump sum payout, but they will also be giving up long-term job security and benefits. The administration argues that this is a necessary step to cut government spending and improve efficiency. However, labor unions and critics warn that losing experienced employees could lead to major disruptions in federal services, including Social Security, Medicare, and veterans benefits. With a deadline quickly approaching, many federal workers are left with a difficult choice: take the buyout and leave their positions, or stay and risk potential layoffs in the future. Both of these policies, the federal grant freeze and the federal worker buyout, have direct consequences for millions of Americans. Let's break down the potential impact. Federal grant freeze, now blocked by the courts, affects Medicaid funding, infrastructure projects, education grants, and small business loans. Creates uncertainty for state governments and nonprofit organizations that rely on federal funding. The legal battle continues, with a final decision on the freeze still pending. Federal worker buyout offer. Thousands of experienced federal employees could leave their positions. Possible delays in processing Social Security, Medicare, and other government benefits. Uncertainty for government services if large numbers of workers accept the buyout. The combination of these policies raises significant concerns about the stability of government operations and funding. In response to criticism, the Trump administration maintains that these moves are necessary to reduce government waste. A White House spokesperson said, "This administration is committed to ensuring that federal resources are allocated efficiently, and that we are not spending taxpayer money irresponsibly." Both the review of federal grants and the buyout offer are part of a broader effort to create a leaner, more effective government. Despite these assurances, pushback is growing. State officials, labor unions, and advocacy groups argue that these sudden policy shifts create unnecessary uncertainty for government employees and the millions of Americans who rely on federal assistance. As these policies unfold, the effects will be felt across government agencies, state programs, and everyday households. Will these changes bring greater efficiency, or will they cause instability in critical services? We'll continue tracking these developments and bring you the latest updates as they happen. You've been watching In the Know. Stay informed, and be sure to like and subscribe for more news.